At the end of the Emerald Brick Road was a street not unlike those in the Oz territory. The houses had gently curving roofs, the smell of baked sweets hung in the air.
I'm sure this must be another Familia's territory. But it's Sunday, so it must be okay to be here, right?
Found it.
Huh? Those two were...
Get your Double Trouble biscuits while they're hot.
Hansel was standing in the middle of the street, energetically peddling his wares. An orange carpet, casually covered with bags of baked sweets, was spread out on the corner of one of the streets. Behind the sacks sat Gretel, who, unlike Hansel, had a decidedly unwelcoming expression, unbecoming of a salesperson on her face. They're the Grimm Familia's Capitagimes, Hansel and Gretel. Do you remember them?
Yes, I learned their names at the meeting.
Axel nodded slightly and approached Hansel. Dottie followed.
Oh, if it isn't Axel.
Ah! Gretel hastily stood up and hurried behind Hansel, clinging to his back. She glared at Axel and Dottie from behind her fellow Capitagime. What do you want, robot? My name is Axel. Oh, trust me, robot. I know. Why'd you come here with that little girl?
Little girl?
Hansel, isn't this girl the one who is sitting between Sleepyhead and the trickster?
That's the one, Gretel.
Well, if it isn't the little girl, what do you want with us, Grimm? Itching for a fight? I'll take you up on that if you want. Ooh.
If it was a fight they were after, they would have come with more people, right? Which means...
It's an ambush! No.
I know, a date then.
No! Oh, no. Then it's an ambush, clearly! Hansel, prepare to counterattack!
Oh, are we gonna blow him up?
Hansel, Gretel, put your weapons away. Scarlet! Look, they're obviously harmless. It's hard to imagine they were trying to start something.
Are you sure those guys are here just for show? Robot here is carrying a gun! I'm only following familiar rules to be armed at all times.
I mean, the two of you always have dynamite and grenades on you, right? That and it's Sunday. We all have to adhere to the compromise, right?
That thing is so dumb! We should just break it right now!
Gretel.
Tch!
Alright then, if you're not here for a date or an attack, what is it?
To buy sweets.
So that's it. I wonder who we're doing this errand for.
Well, she is.
Huh? I am?
You are, aren't you? She stopped talking as Axel gave her a meaningful look.
He must have his reasons.
Playing along, she nodded in agreement.
Oh, really? Well, thanks for shopping with us. They all cost the same, so just pick whatever catches your fancy.
Okay. What should I pick?
She crouched down. Third from the right.
Huh?
While she hadn't been paying attention, Axel had crouched down beside her. He whispered into her ear quietly so that only she could hear him. Third from the right.
Third from the right?
Third from the right was 6 chocolate chip cookies in a clear bag tied with a blue ribbon. Which do you want?
How about this one?
Gretel wrapped the bag of cookies in paper before handing it to Hansel.
Alrighty, thanks for shopping with us.
I'll pay. Hansel held out his hand expectantly.
Are you sure it's not a date?
No, we're just shopping.
Alright, if you say so. Deliciousness guaranteed or your money back. Let me know what you think about them next time you come by if you feel like it.
Oh, certainly.
Dottie reached out to take the bag of sweets. Before she could pull away, Hansel grabbed her hand.
So, I'm curious. Can you actually speak for yourself without being prompted?
Of course I can, Mr. Hansel.
Then just be yourself with me, okay? Also, I'd appreciate it if you didn't call me Mr. Hansel. It just doesn't feel right.
Then how about just Hansel?
Yeah, perfect.
What are you doing, Hansel? Isn't this little girl the oldest?
I know, but they're just taking care of her. She's not actually part of their familia. Nothing wrong with being a little friendly, right, Scarlet? Yes, within reason. Yay!
What are you so excited about? What are you gonna do if they win her over? You're such an idiot, Hansel! Idiot!
Aren't you happy, Gretel? You made a girlfriend.
I have no intention of ever making friends!
Gretel and Scarlet are happy to meet you, Dottie baby.
Thanks.
Dottie squeezed her hand back. Unlike Hansel, Gretel's gaze was icy cold.
We're done here. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
What?
I'll escort you out of our territory.
You will?
Yeah. Gretel isn't particularly fond of you two. I'll make sure she doesn't try anything.
We don't need an escort.
I'll keep my distance, don't worry.
Scarlet walked over to one of the houses and began clambering up the drain pipe. Wow, I guess that's some distance.
Mm-hmm.
In the blink of an eye, Scarlet was on the roof, looking down at Axel and Dottie.
Never listens. Let's go, guest.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Dottie baby.
Goodbye, Hansel. Gretel. Greta?
How dare that little girl give me a nickname?
Isn't that nice, Gretel?
It is not! It is not nice to be treated like you're less significant than a grain of sand! Just what is this little girl plotting?
Feels a little strange to be walking side by side with Mr. Axel. Mr. Axel, are you intentionally slowing yourself down?
Yeah,
Thank you.
don't get the wrong idea. I'm not doing it as a favor. It's not like I like you or anything.
Baka.
Huh?
I don't want the other side to see what you're doing.
Other side. Oh. You mean Scarlet?
Amelia Grimm's Capitagine, Scarlet, was walking along the rooftops, keeping a fixed distance from Dottie and Axel.
It's pretty amazing that Scarlet can walk like that while keeping an eye on us.
I'm keeping you from view. Don't go out of your way to make yourself visible.
Is it bad if I'm seen?
It doesn't feel very good to have someone watching your every move, does it?
I'm sorry. I know what he said, but maybe he really is doing it to be nice to me. Mr. Axel might be a really kind person after all.
Why are you smiling?
I was just thinking that you're a really nice person, Mr. Axel. Mr. Axel?
No, nothing. You interrupted my train of thought with your strange comment.
Strange? Was there something strange about what I said? He stopped talking. Maybe I said something I shouldn't have.
She cocked her head to the side, puzzled, but she couldn't figure out what she'd done wrong.
It feels like such a waste to go home in silence.
She looked around, trying to find a new conversation topic.
Oh, that's right. Did Mr. Caramia ask you to get these cookies? Was it Mr. Kyrie?
I'm not obligated to tell you.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
good at this. I just keep offending Mr. Axel.
They're delicious.
He got them for himself.
I knew it!
Huh?
Those cookies are delicious. I'll let you have one.
Aww. Does that mean that these are...
He looked away and Dottie bit her tongue.
Does that mean Mr. Axel wanted to eat them himself?
Yes, he did. Suddenly, those simple cookies seemed unusually special to her.
Guest,
Yes?
would you mind accompanying me on a slight detour?
A detour.
Where the hell are we going?
This looks like the alley where we woke up.
It does. They made their way to a back alley bordered by Grimm Street on one side and Oscar Wilde Street on the other. By the time they got there, the sky was already dyed a deep crimson. Scarlet had vanished without a trace. All they could hear was the sound of their footsteps.
We're here. This is it. I'm sure this is where I first awoke. He told me to take him to the place where I first remember waking up.
Axel just stared at the ground in silence.
Mr. Axel?
You really don't remember anything before that.
His words followed the long silence, made her blink.
When I returned from my patrols, you were lying on the couch. That's how we met. Your situation was explained to me, but I just couldn't accept it. Do you really not have any memories before then?
Yes.
I understand that you're not a member of another familia, but I still...
There was a sudden explosion.
Yay.
A shockwave erupted behind them, strong enough to make their hair fly back and pin their clothes to their bodies.
What was that?
Several figures were outlined in white smoke. A familiar man stepped out from among them.
Greetings again, my prey. Mr. Caesar. So you remember my name.
Caesar snorted and unfastened another sword. He switched from wielding a single longsword to dual blades, pointing them both at Dottie.
Today, you're mine.
You'll have to go through me first.
Axel raised his shotgun and moved between them to protect her.
You're outnumbered. You should have run away when you had the chance. Kill him.
At Caesar's command, the other men charged forward. Axel snapped his gun into a firing position and pulled the trigger. He missed the man he'd been aiming for, but the blast chopped into the support of a nearby awning. Within seconds, it had collapsed into the alleyway, briefly stalling their attacker's advance.
Sometimes my poor aim comes in handy. Go back to the mansion, guest.
Huh? But Mr. Axel...
I'll hold them off.
But...
Just go!
I hope you're ready for what's coming your way.
I'm always ready. This is my job, after all.
Once I get back to the plaza, I just follow the red brick road.
Dottie was running just like she had on that fateful day, fleeing the exact same man from her exact same place. But unlike that fateful day, now she was familiar with the streets and the people she passed. Even if she stayed, there was nothing she could have done in that situation. She would only have made things harder for Axel.
I have to tell someone. I have to let them know, and soon. I'm sure Mr. Caramia and the others will be able to do something. Oh, Signorina, why are you in such a hurry? Mr. Caramia! Mr. Kyrie! Help! What's wrong? Is Caesar chasing you again? He's not chasing me, but Mr. Axel. Mr. Caesar is after Mr. Axel.
So that gunshot earlier was Axel?
Yes! He said he'd hold them off so I could get away.
He's such a troublemaker.
That he is. Well, let's return to the mansion like we'd planned.
You're going back? But what about Mr. Axel?
Leave him. He'll manage on his own.
But he was outnumbered. If we don't hurry, he'll...
Really now? He must be putting up a good fight if you got this far without injury. That's really all that matters.
Putting up a good fight?
A cup of regime is nothing more than a sacrificial pawn, after all.
Mr. Caramia!
I'm sorry, Signorina, but I agree with Kyrie. I'll send some scouts out, but please come back to the house with us.
It would be nice if we could just stay in the forest like a good little feral wolf. They were in the office in the back of the mansion. They'd spread a map out on top of the big table in the center of the room. Dottie and Kyrie were sitting across the table from Caramia.
The scouts are reporting that they couldn't find Axel in the alley.
Oh no! Was he kidnapped?
Yes, they probably took him to the forest.
As you can see from the map, the town is encircled by a wall. The people who live in the forest outside the wall are the Wolfgang. If they kidnapped him, they'd probably take him to the forest, or the slums.
The slums?
Not everyone living in the town accepts the rule of the Familiae. It's this grey district here, created by those who despise the ruling class. Right now, it's a perfect breeding ground for criminals.
The rival familiae aren't the only ones we have conflicts with. We have more skirmishes with residents of the slums than anyone else.
Caesar's group, the Wolfgang, is a group of anarchists composed of people who left out of distaste for the town itself. That said, it's still not clear exactly where Caesar himself came from. Considering where Caesar tends to operate, the forest seems like the more likely option. That's assuming that Axel isn't sleeping with the fishes already.
Sleeping?
Don't be so vulgar around the Signorina. Alright, maybe we should get something to eat.
Caramia rolled up the map and put it back down on the table before standing up and stretching.
What would you like for dinner, Signorina?
I want carbonara.
Are you a Signorina?
Dottie was deeply confused by how normal the two of them were acting.
But what are we going to do about Mr. Axel?
Nothing.
Huh?
Did you not hear me? I said we're not doing anything.
But isn't he an important part of the Familia?
Yes, he is Familia, ours is Cap Regime, and protecting you, one of our guests, is an important part of his job. But these are separate issues.
Do you feel the same way, Mr. Caramia?
Yes. Axel's situation is a Familia problem. There's no need for you to worry about it or get involved, Signorina. Forget about him for now.
How could I? I think I'm going to go back to my room.
What about dinner?
I'm not hungry.
All right then, I'll save a portion for you. Please eat whenever your appetite returns.
Her stomach grumbled the moment she made it back to her room.
I guess this is what they call playing the martyr. But I can't eat at a time like this. I can't just forget about Mr. Axel.
She took off her shoes and lay on the bed. Feeling something underneath her, she sat back up.
Oh, Mr. Axel's cookies.
Aww. She'd forgotten she had them. Both the wrapping and the cookies inside had been crushed.
I bet Mr. Axel is hungry. Why do Mr. Caramia and Mr. Kyrie talk about Mr. Axel like that?
She was perplexed and saddened by how they were so much colder and less kind to him than they were to her.
If only I hadn't been there. And Mr. Axel wouldn't be...
She gulped as a vortex of guilt engulfed her.
Mr. Caesar was chasing me after all. I wonder if I can save Mr. Axel if I go to Mr. Caesar's camp.
She shook her head, trying to shed her anxiety that Axel might already be.
If I can save Mr. Axel, then I should go find Mr. Caesar.
Sneaking out of the mansion was even easier than Dottie had ever thought it would be. Maybe it was because it was a Sunday evening, but the town was just as busy now as it had been earlier in the day.
If I remember correctly, to get outside it was a right once I get off Oz Street.
She put her hand on the
Sorry.
She put her hand on the tower and remembered the map as she looked around.
Right, that way. I finally got out of town.
She made quite a few wrong turns, but she'd eventually found her way past the walls. She wondered if everyone lived inside the walls, even though the town had been so crowded. The area around her was completely deserted.
That's the forest Mr. Caramia and Mr. Kyrie mentioned.
She took one of the two streets leading out of town. Once she got over a small hill, she could see a thick patch of forest. She was all alone and going to an unfamiliar place. She'd be lying if she said she wasn't afraid.
You can do this, Dottie.
She made a fist and cheered herself on.
Yeah!
With the breeze from the hill playing with her hair, she began to make her way into the forest. The moonlight she'd been relying on earlier was now obstructed by the tree chops. The leaves of the forest were in constant motion. Was it the work of beasts or just the wind playing tricks on her? Dottie made her way further into the forest as her eyes acclimated to the darkness. It turned out that even through the canopy, the faded moonlight was still enough to light the way.
I can see the lamplight, and I hear voices.
She didn't know who the voices belonged to. It sounded like several men.
Hey, you.
She turned around, startled by the voice behind her.
You're the woman our leader's been looking for, ain't ya? Leader? Do you mean Mr. Caesar? I came to surrender myself to Mr. Caesar. I want to save Mr. Axel and... Oh, really?
A vulgar smile appeared on the man's face as he grabbed at Dottie's arm. He dragged her toward the lamplight. She was terrified and wanted to run, but the grip on her was so strong that she couldn't get away.
Hey, y'all! The prey came to get caught!
About 10 men were sitting around the roaring fire. Instantly, they stopped their drinking and merrymaking and stared at Dottie. Now that's interesting. Better tell Mr. Caesar right away.
He said he'd be out until morning.
Oh yeah, I thought there was something like that. And how about we get a taste before we hand her over to Mr. Caesar?
Cut it out. What if she's a pure maiden? The boss would tear you limb from limb. Let's tie her up with the other one. Is Mr. Axel?
Now, no need to hurry. You'll see him soon.
She was tugged along by the arm as they cut right in front of the bonfire. A skinned rabbit on a spit was cooking over it. The charred mass beside it had probably been a rabbit too, once upon a time. The smell of blood and burnt flesh made Dottie turn away. Just a little taste couldn't hurt, right? Right, little lady? A drunk man reached out and grabbed her calf as she tried to walk by. The sensation of his rough skin against hers sent a chill down her spine.
Please stop!
Let her go unless you want the leader to kill you. Be a good boy and
Oh.
make do with the horrors in the slums.
Give me a break. What if I catch something?
I think dying from disease would be preferable to getting tortured to death by the leader.
Fine. I know this guy is supposed to be a horrible person, and this scene is probably supposed to be like really gross and scary. But I just, it'll Bill and Joe. She felt slightly. She felt slightly relieved when he finally let go of her leg. Of course, she couldn't be completely relaxed in her current situation. All she could do was keep walking as the hand on her arm dragged her along. The rabbit meat cooking on the fire crackled and popped ominously.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Meanwhile, just as Kyrie was about to step into the kitchen, a soldato stopped him. He told Kyrie that several reports had arrived before handing him a stack of memos. That sure didn't take long. Oh!
You make his voice go higher and higher every time.
I know! I was watching the videos and I'm like, oh my god, he just keeps getting higher and higher. Kyrie took the papers with one hand and dismissed his subordinate with the other. He leaned against the wall and glanced over the pages. My, how selfish. He put the pages in his pocket and then pulled a wine glass from the cabinet and poured himself some water. What? Water in a wine? He wrapped the glass in a
Gotta be
silk
classy.
handkerchief to avoid getting his gloves. I hate him. I'm gonna throw him in a locker. Caramia, about the situation. Nothing answered him but the sound of slow, steady breathing. To the sofa, found Caramia sleeping soundly. Is he gonna kiss him in his sleep or something? Is this actually a BL?
Think about why he might have gotten the water.
Oh boy. How dare he? Kyrie sat down on one of the sofa's armrests, taking a sip of water from his glass. Then he slowly tilted the glass over, just above the sleeping Caramia's head. Good morning! If you keep falling asleep right after you eat, you'll become a rather rotund lion.
Why, couldn't you have woken me up a little more gently?
The only reason I didn't use tomato juice or milk is because I wanted you to think I was being conscientious. Kyrie tossed the handkerchief he'd wrapped around the glass at Caramia. The Don used it to wipe his face off before glaring back at him. Things appear to be moving as we'd anticipated.
I see. How's it look?
I can't say for sure yet. I'm sure I'll be able to figure out something with my capabilities.
I don't know what I'd do without you, Kyrie.
I don't either! I don't intend to kill myself over such matters. What?
Be a good girl. Making a fuss ain't gonna do you any good.
Ow!
Are you here?
I wanted to save you, Mr. Axel, but then they caught me.
Well, fuck. What do you think I was buying time for? It was so you could get back to the mansion safely, baka.
I know that, but both Mr. Caramia and Mr. Kyrie said they weren't going to help you.
They weren't in the wrong. That was the natural decision.
Please don't say that. Aren't you all close friends? It's my fault this happened to you. I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. So I came to talk to Mr. Caesar. I was going to ask him to take me and let you go.
Do you really think you could just negotiate with these people?
Well,
You're a baka! Can you not imagine what hell they might put you through?
I know everything's going to be okay. I was alone in the beginning anyway. Familia Oz has done so much for me. I just wanted to bring you home, Mr. Axel.
Guest. I do not approve of my boner.
Huh?
I protect the Familia with all my body and soul. Those are the rules. Not only are you a guest, but the Dawn instructed me to treat you as a member of the Familia. You are not alone. I can't say your actions were even remotely worthwhile, but I do appreciate the sentiment.
Mr. Axel.
It sounds like something's happening.
Oh, hey!
Greetings, that campfire sure looks nice.
Oh, shit! You're the Oz's!
Oh no, it's the day of rest, so you better put those weapons down. I hear one of my subordinates and my dear guest are joining you by the fire. For both our sakes, why don't you just hand them over without making a fuss? It ain't up for discussion. Like the wolf gang is soft enough to give up its prey. I see. Well, I guess you leave me no choice. It's too late to change your minds now. Brace yourselves, little puppies. Familia Grimm, here.
Oh god, another southern guy. Familia Anderson is here!
Familia Boots, here.
Familia Edelhide, present as well.
Familia Oz, assume your positions. Surely even denizens of the slums are aware of the Sunday Compromise. And as you know, it's not just some flimsy verbal promise. It's something that, when violated, brings some very severe consequences. The compromise doesn't exclusively apply to mafiosi. All violence in town is prohibited. I will not abide violations of the law.
I sure don't care as long as I get to use my new gunpowder formula. Yeah! Oh god, I completely. Oh yeah,
Andy, we're in the middle of the forest. Please be careful.
You called me out here in the middle of the night. Peter! Hurry up and get this mess cleaned up.
Who the hell are?
I
Oh!
think that's supposed to be like Peter the Rabbit or something. I don't even know.
Here's
don't
a rabbit
know.
is huge tits! What the fuck? Wait, no! No! You can't just have that sprite come up out. First of all, that sprite was in Dottie's place?
No, it wasn't.
That's really
That was
weird.
Peter. Oh, well, yes, it was in Dottie's place.
It was in Dottie's face. So that was what was particularly shocking about it. Besides the... Anyway, oh, this is me. It is precisely midnight. The day of rest seems to have come to an end.
Loopholes!
You know what I mean?
All right, in the name of the compromise, eliminate these lawbreakers.
Rabbit.
This is Melissus, right here.
Oh, shit. No, this is
No, it's the Melissus is different from the frog, but this right here is him
Melissus-
speaking.
Oh, okay. He's the little guy,
Yes.
right? Yes, please untie them.
You.
Familia Anderson's consigliere, Melissus, and this is our intelligence officers, Romeo!
I'm sorry. I was expecting some like Shakespearean shit. Rabbit, rabbit. If you're here, does that mean those gunshots were part of the cleanup?
Indeed, you, sir, were not the only offender.
Offender? What do you mean?
Either way, things seem to have quieted down.
Yeah, let's go, guest. Axel picked his jacket up off the ground and put it over Dottie.
Mr. Axel?
Oh! I was expecting something romantic like, you don't want to be cold, do you? Take my jacket. No, it's, you don't want to see the corpses, do you? I do. Axel put his hand on her back and started guiding her across the clearing. Even with her vision obstructed, she still felt the discomfort of, tons of corpses. Smell of singed flesh, a rusty metallic smell. The footsteps were clearly more numerous than she expected for the number of men she'd seen. She could hear the sound of tearing flesh and breaking bones. Pained groans, anguished wails. On the other side of the cloth was a world grayer and dimmer than she could have ever imagined from inside the town.
Welcome back, Axel, Dottie.
Mr. Caramia, Mr. Kyrie.
You are extremely foolish for sneaking off into enemy territory without so much as a word.
I'm sorry.
Familia boots, no casualties. We're withdrawing. Looks like Familia Anderson's already gone home. We'll head back to town too. Good, thanks for coming. We're just abiding by the compromise. Good evening. Peter killed like 2 or 3 people, but they were all those dogs' underlings. That's not a problem, right?
Indeed! The Undertaker will handle it from here.
Oh, what a relief.
Oh, she's Moe!
Though really, I'm the one who saved you, so don't act like you're doing me a favor. We're leaving, Peter.
Tits.
Well, I guess all that's left is us.
Axel, you understand what you've done, don't you? What? Okay. Axel nodded and then got... So, look. This could be a very different situation. Axel nodded and then got down on his knees, his back still straight as an arrow.
His heart, though.
It was very gay.
Mr. Axel?
He showed no reaction to Dottie calling his name, and instead just looked back at Kyrie. Show some respect. Kyrie kicked Axel's shoulder hard, knocking him down to the ground. Caramia pulled the pistol from the holster at his hip and pointed it at his caporegime's chest.
Mr. Kyrie!
Stay out of this one, Signorina.
But...
The moonlight streaming through the trees shone on Kyrie's back. Drawing his own pistol, he narrowed his icy blue eyes and took an aim at Axel's brow. What the fuck is happening? Axel, explain why you're being disposed of. I violated the compromise and used a weapon. Very good. Now, accept your sentence.
That's the end of the
What?
demo.
What? No! No! What the fuck?
That's where the demo ends.
By the request of the developers, we're not supposed to show anything past the demo.
So this is the limit of what we're uploading, and I would definitely recommend this game to you guys. If you like what you've seen here, I would say definitely go check it out for yourself. I would say it's definitely worth the price. It's about maybe $30-ish, I think.
Hey!
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.
La 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 la